Okay, so hi Ada, welcome back to the show, Power Ace Radio. It's great to have you. How have you been?
Thank you very much for having me again. Well, I think I've been really well. I remember last time, I think it was still a different time.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, different
it's
time.
all on Zoom.
Yeah.
And so
it's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice being face to face.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I know Pally has obviously said who you are, but there are people who haven't seen the first interview, so it would be nice for you to just explain briefly who you are and what you do.
Ooh, okay. Well, I try to make it short. I'm from Germany. I worked still do, but as an actress for over 20 years in Germany, and also as a writer, which I still do. I've always done music, but I started, I'd say, like on a different, more professional level, writing my own songs 5 years ago. So in the last 4 years, I released 3 albums, which tells you that how passionate I'm about it now. And yeah, so my first album was released 2019 with Sony, and I did 3 albums with the same musicians and the same producer, and I'm very lucky to have found such a great creative family.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously you've been well known in movies and TV series and also music. What kind of made you decide to get into music? Have you always had a passion for it? Or?
You know what, I see myself as a storyteller, so I've never thought of like, oh, now I'm doing, I'm doing music. I mean, it was always, it's not like I started music 5 years ago. I've always played the piano since I'm, from a young age, and I did singing, but I think for like really finding your own artist voice and what you really want to write about and the style. Some people find it very early. I think I just needed that time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean, obviously in 2019 you released your debut album Pictures, which has received a massive success with over like 1 million streams to date, and then your next one was Box, and then your last one has been Lost.
Right.
So you've done a lot in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So to move on to Lost, so that's your new album. I noticed that you wanted to focus on the 4 elements of the world. So what made you decide that's what I want to do? What gave you that idea?
I don't really want to stress the word because I think we are a bit sick of hearing like COVID, but it was, the main push was because of the lockdown, and like me, just like many others, I think, sitting at home, being by myself and being like, okay, what, who am I? What do I really want to do? Like really getting into the essence of life. And then finally, it's just very natural to then actually come to the 4 elements, because we all have the 4 elements in us, and the world is shaped by the 4 elements. So I had this idea to create an album based on the elements, and then to kind of like represent the circle of life. And it was really like a process rather than having like written songs that are finished and then going to the studio. So I went to the studio with my musicians and my producer, and each instrument represented 1 element, and then it was a very flowing journey in the beginning. And of course it took, it was a lot of work to then actually put together all the pieces, and so, but I think I'd probably say it's my best work that I've ever done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have received so many reviews from the Rolling Stone and the Good Times already. Positive, outstanding reviews. So how long did it take you to completely finish that album? How long was it?
it's hard. I mean, we had like 2 recording sessions, and first of all, I really have to say with this album, it would have, you know, like, I mean, I had this vision of what I wanted it to like come out, but I could have never done it without my, you know, without knowing that I have the band and the producer who know me and who like trusted me and who really, you know, gave all their personality and all their creativity in that project. So we had a session in June, and then we went back with lots of music. My producer and I, Buff, and then I think it's always hard to tell how did the process actually work, but it was really, I just felt it. A lot of times I just knew that, you know, this is the kind of order that I want, and I wanted to like, I knew that how I wanted to start with like birth, and in my head there was this wish that if listeners would take the moment to like actually listen to the whole album, that they could like really escape and really flow through their lives. So like different layers. But so then the second session was in October, and in between that we wrote almost every lyrics, and I found the melodies. And well, then there was post-production. Let's say it was probably a year, like until it was really done.
Well, you've got a lot in just for a year. That must have took like a lot of time and a lot of obviously getting everyone together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so you said also with your band and your producer, do you see yourself as a kind of like family in a way? Like,
oh yeah, I mean we are now, because we know each other quite well after, you know, working together for 4 years. But still, everyone it's not my band, because everyone is having their own artistic paths. So but yeah, they're friends. So,
and I know that you described each one as an element. So each person in your band and what they play as an element, either water, fire.
Well, defined by actually the instruments that I thought for me represent, you know, like fire, the drums, the bass, the earth, and air is the guitar. And
so what would, in your view, what would you describe your voice?
My voice.
So,
you know what? I always thought like I'm probably the 5th element. But,
there you go.
But we also had like a harp player, Ruth Wall. She's amazing, and she really had this. You know, I thought like it's in the Ayurvedic. What's it called? I'm searching the name, but there it's called like the space in between, and so it felt like she was kind of representing like the 5th element. I'd say, but yes, I mean my voice is probably the one that keeps it that holds it together. So I felt a bit more like a director maybe.
But when it all came together, it all flowed nicely and perfectly done, in my opinion.
Thank you. Well, as I said, also the work with Buff was really amazing, and very.
So, how would, if someone never listened to your music before, how would you describe your musical style? How would you do it?
I would say, listen to my second album. That I've written a song about it. It's called Box. Don't you put me in a box? And I think it's the same with the music, because it's really, it's drum and bass. It's jazz. It's maybe soul, and it's pop a little bit. It's
a whole range.
Yes, and I, like when I write songs, I don't think of the genre of what it's gonna be. Then so
I think that shows how unique you are, because you're not just like, I'm a jazz singer, I'm a pop singer. When you feel something, and if you think it's right for you, I think that's how you do it. If that's, or how would you?
I mean, first of all, I think there are a lot of artists that, or maybe we could also say there are, you know, every human being has more than we all see, and a lot of artists, you know, like explore in different genres. It's just that for the industry, or also maybe for the fans, it's sometimes easier if you can put yourself in a box. It's like, oh, you. But I just hope that, you know, my voice and hopefully like the quality of the work gets people to you know, like, come with me on a journey that maybe sometimes is not exactly what they expected me to do, but you know, and then the next time it'll be again because I'm not doing heavy metal or something, so it's not.
Yeah. But everyone should like expect the unexpected, so you never know.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Definitely, because I found out like whenever I wanted to, like, you know, told myself to like focus, it was I definitely do something else. But
yeah. So, obviously, from your first album, Behind the Scenes of Lost, you produce that and you let us, you know, see that on YouTube. How was that? Like, because I've said before about obviously producing the video, how was the behind the scenes? Was it like a bit chaotic at times, or?
We had these 2 sessions and they were very different because the first session was very free. It was, you know, improvisation the whole time, and Mark, who did the filming, he is an incredible documentation director. So we actually like I actually sometimes I don't really know how he does that, but he's there in the exact moments. Like he really captured the moment when the main theme of Lost, of the song Lost, was born in that moment, and he captured that, which is for me like, oh my god, how did he do that? But you never felt distracted by him.
So it's like a magical moment that he captures.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely capture that.
And so, obviously, when we saw behind the scenes, which I saw on YouTube from the album, it shows a glimpse of the musical world, in my opinion, and how basically you and your team and everyone, how it's a lot of work, how it's not just, it takes a lot of time and a lot of, you know, patience. And I applaud you for that, because when you said from October and then obviously it was released in February.
A year later. Even a year later. Yeah, it was released 2023. And we started recording. I think the first idea came up, like the idea that was growing was in March 21.
Oh, right. That was still a short amount of time to get it, you know.
Yeah, because once I had the idea, I think the first time when it popped up, it was already, because there is already one song that we did based on one element. It's called Oh My Love from the album Box, and the way we did it was already a bit like I wanted to do the album, because I went into the studio and I've written that essay about the air, like it was a love letter to the air, and just some notes, and then we took it from there, and the music was born in the studio. So I knew already that, you know, the magic that happens in between us, that this could work. So yeah, we were quite quick, but this is the only thing, because all of them are, you know, like really very busy normally, but because of COVID, I was, you know, that was the only advantage, that everyone had time, and thank God didn't have COVID by the time, and we could go to the studio. And
yeah, absolutely. And so, where do your ideas come from to produce your music? Do they just, how's that process?
Well, I really get a lot of inspiration by art. Actually, I love to go into museums, galleries. Is for me, there's a similarity also between arts and music. It's like sometimes I think ideas come and go, but it depends on whether the idea that comes to you comes back again, and again and again, and then it draws, and then sometimes I think it grows. It's just an idea. It's a thought, and you it's like you listen to it. Is it really worth it? I mean, that's with ideas. With writing songs, there are songs that are like this. Like they come, and I've written a song in like 4 hours, but I've also written a song that took me like 4 months because the lyrics over and over again I rewrote them, and yes.
And so, when you obviously do your concerts, do you feel nervous going on stage, or is it like the excitement, or is it?
It's nervous, but it isn't. It's the good. It's the excitement then. Like I really enjoy performing live, and so I'm like to really get in contact with the audience and present the music. So it's excitement. Yes.
Yeah, because I think when any artist perform live, you see their presence. You like see how they perform, and sometimes it can be different.
Yeah.
And it's great to see it in person. And especially for you to be like, oh, I saw her in person. I saw her perform live.
Yeah.
And I've got to ask, is there anything in the pipeline coming up? So I know you're doing this concert tonight in London. What else have you got planned?
Well, there's another gig in Berlin that we're doing. We're flying to Berlin this weekend and playing a festival, and also another gig. I've got. There will be some remixes coming out from the Four Elements, but I can't really.
You can't.
I can't tell, but there are.
But there are things happening.
Yeah, there are things happening. Yes.
Okay.
And,
well, I mean, when you said you were doing a remix, you did do a remix?
Yeah, it just came out.
It just
came out Friday. From Lost, and it was done by 4Hero.
Yeah. And I think I like that because you obviously remixing it, but you still keep the original sound.
Yeah, well, that's actually. I think they did a. I really love the remix because I think sometimes if you have a remix, it could be that you don't actually. Like the original sounds totally different, but I think in this case, if you listen to the remix, you definitely get the sound of 4Hero, like the drum and bass that they are known for. But when you go back to the original, it wouldn't be like, oh, totally different song. So it's a great work.
And before we finish, I would like to. Well, actually, there's 2 questions really.
Okay.
So the first one is, what do you like? Let's say in 5 years' time. Where do you really hope to be, and what do you really want to?
Yes. Well,
I put you on the spot now.
Yes, you put me on the spot now because in 5 years we'll be like, okay, so where are we now? I definitely would love to play more gigs live and to be known for the music, because obviously it's a lot more fun if you don't have to worry if people come to the gigs and if they're coming. So, and I think I have something to give on stage. What I would love to give and celebrate that moment. Yeah,
that's wonderful. And this is going to be an easy one, don't worry. So obviously you've been in London.
Yeah.
What is the one place you enjoy going to? Being in London. Is it like people can say the Tower, the London Bridge? Do you have anything in mind, or do you just?
Well, I really love London. I love sometimes I go to like Primrose Hill, just lie down on the hill and just look over London, and or just sitting in Soho in a
and just
in
watching.
the street and just watching. Yeah, this is actually what I really love, like watching. Like I force myself to not, because we tend to like always get the phone and be like, okay, I do this email, so like, but when you ask me where do I get, inspiration, I think it's very important that we take these moments of doing nothing and just let our minds wander around.
That's like a perfect answer, really. And
to get lost.
There you go.
Well,
perfect.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
thank you. Matched it. And I want to say thank you for again coming on to show and seeing how you've grown and how you produce even more brilliant music and being an even more amazing artist. And it's such a pleasure to have you. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Olivia. Thank you.
And thus the story begins. And I would now like to invite you to get lost. To do an album shaped around the elements to present a circle of life. I was very fortunate and lucky to have great musicians with me. Two of them are on stage, the amazing Livingston Brown and Luca Boscacci. And the other two guys are amazing as well. Just lovely. It's Gavin Holligan and Christopher Taggart. So this album, if you go out, I would love you to, put the album best case on repeat and listen to it in full length. That'd be amazing. It's a flow through life, and so you're happy to applause. Is that word to clap? But you don't have to. Like you could also just, lay back, get into that circle of life, and I want to do something now. Could you come a bit closer? Just a little bit closer. And on 3, I just want us to take a deep breath together. 1, 2, 3. And thus the story begins. Let me feel Thank you very much. Well, it's great to be here. First of all, I want to say thank you very much, Flora. For I miss you like a dog without a bone. Who do I hold now? Is there anyone to hold me down when I'm getting frantic? I miss you and I wanna go back home. Who do I call now? Is there anyone to pick up the pieces? I miss you like a dog without a bone. Where do I hold now? Is there anyone to hold me down when I'm getting frantic? And I miss you and I wanna go back home. Who do I hold now? Is there anyone to pick up the pieces? Pick up the pieces. คุณโจโกOnce it was nothing, a friend without a picture it could hold. Spring that never changed, a sunrise day and night that wouldn't disappear. And then there is something new, a piece that finds another piece, a color of black and white, a song that finds a melody. It grows like vine on the tree. It blows like stars above the sea. You is you, and me is me. Time is ours, and we are free to leave this page behind and write another one. The moment begins to live when it becomes all memory. Living in newborn time, like sounds turn into harmony. It flows and whispers like a breeze. It knows and guides us to our dreams. You is you, and me is me. Time is ours, and we are free to leave this page behind and write another one. You is you, and me is me. Time is ours, and we are free to leave this page behind and write another one. To leave this page behind and write another So why is this album called Lost? Because the next song is called Lost and is also the title of this album. And my children said, because mommy is lost so many times when she drives us to school. No, that's not what I meant. I mean, I was thinking of the times when you have a goal, you have a vision, and you go there, but you allow yourself to get lost on the way, still thinking of where you want to go. And this getting lost is for me always the moment when I'm being most creative. And I think there's actually a German word that you use much better for it. I think it's Wanderlust, which has a different meaning in German actually, but it's much nicer how you take it. So this is why this album is called Lost, and the next song is one of the first songs where I wrote the lyrics. And I would now like to invite you to get lost! Woo! Fingers crossed, turned and tossed. I wanna get lost. I wanna get lost. I wanna get lost. Like diamonds on the road, in the hold of my dress, my lace. Like a seesaw, up and down. I speak to you, words I've never said, forming a line, waiting for their time.